Alrighty, got my next match for the 2021 championships versus SOWAKA. This is the round of 64. What have we got here? You got all the straightforward stuff. Got draw with Wayfarer and Witch. You got villages with Blessed Village. There's trashing with Count or Mint. Plus buy comes from Stockpile. That will run out. And I guess there's also some other gains, like Mint and Wayfarer can gain treasures, and Count can maybe gain duchies after that's out. So what's going on here? I mean, I see some tension between maybe trying to get an early Count trash in versus prioritizing Witch, and I suspect that Witch is the stronger of those two. So I feel like probably the priority here is to get Witch ASAP, give out a bunch of curses, take a few Blessed Villages, and then maybe you add a Count to that deck afterwards and then get Thin eventually. I think is the correct order of priorities. Militia might matter. I mean, the attack hurts. I certainly want a lot of the villages. I would hate to lose the village split. You need a village for every draw card you play, and then if you want to attack them with militia or play a Count or distant lands, that's going to take an extra village. So for the opening, the first thing that jumps out to me is militia star chart on player 1. So if I do that, I'm hitting them their turn 3 hand, which might matter. That could be a bit of an annoyance, I think, because it denies them 5, and the thing you might otherwise buy on turn 3 could be Fisherman, but if they discard cards, they can no longer buy Fisherman. The natural alternative, I think, is Militia Stockpile, which also seems really good. Now they've opened Star Chart, which I think extra induces me to want to click Star Chart because, well, I'm player 1, so if they top deck their Militia, I'm going to hit their Militia hand, which means they can't hit 5. I think they should go for some like reverse psychology thing here and top deck a Copper and hope to find their Militia in the turn 4 hand, because they know that I'm Militiaing them, so they know they're not getting to 5 that turn. Hitting 3 is a little sad, but not unexpected. I guess it's going to happen anyway because I was going to get militiaed. So actually, it's probably happy because if I was going to hit 3 anyway, I might as well discard 2 estates. Okay, so they got Blessed Village. That is not a bad boon. That's actually a really good boon for them because it means they're going to get to top deck Militia again. Which is an annoyance for me, but I can't do anything about it. By Stockpile, and top deck Witch I think is the most important card, and we don't like Collision, but it's just the way things go. If you discard the Militia first and then the estate ends up on top, which I'm not sure if that is relevant information for them, but at the very least now they don't know that I have my Militia in hand and discarded it. So now they have to live with the fear that maybe I play it next turn. Does that influence their play? I have no earthly idea. Okay, 6 is a little bit awkward. Can't quite afford 2 things. I could do like Fisherman Blessed Village if this were earlier in the shuffle. I think I just want a village. I'm already over Terminaled. So, best to only play 4 in case I get Earth's Gift, or like, I guess I'd take Sky's Gift if I got that. I mean, the one potential argument for playing all 6 is if I got Forest's Gift, then I could buy a Stockpile. But I think the upside the other way around was larger. This is a pretty good hand, all things considered. Oh, I guess they elected to top deck their Witch. That makes sense. I was thinking they were going to top deck their... Wait, now I'm confusing myself. I don't even know what's going on. I thought they were going to top deck their Militia, but which certainly seems sensible. Okay, so do I want a second witch, I think is the question now. Probably not, just because it's difficult to get, whereas Wayfarer is very easy to get. So probably I'm just doing Wayfarer Blessed Village here. Seems like the best thing. Yes, I will take that now. I've got a militia on top. So that's militia and 3 coppers. They didn't play the militia last turn. So I'm getting militiaed here. So I should just put some junk on top. Because I'm just going to have to discard it anyway. Yeah. And here I could take stockpiles back. I'm not sure if that's better than just buying another Blessed Village. Both seem like reasonable things to want to do. I think I'm inclined towards buying the Blessed Village. I don't need a huge amount of payload right as of yet. I kind of just want to play the Witch a lot and then buy a count and then trash. So I think I'm just going to take the Village. Meh. It's not the best boon, but we'll live with it. And that was as I was clicking it, I was like, I know this is a mistake. I shouldn't have clicked that. This is a bad shuffle to trigger. My witch isn't in it. I don't benefit from triggering it. I walked right into that one, and now it's too late to undo because like I'm seeing all my cards. Oh, that was a silly error on my part. What are these bottom 2 cards? A curse and a blessed village, I think. That's an ugly amount of, or an ugly amount of cards. The amount of cards is 2. The cards there are not good. So maybe I should top deck a copper so I can hit 5 and then take the count. Don't want a silver. Yeah, that playing Wayfarer I think was just a big error. Oh well. Here I think I'll take a second witch. And we'll put a blessed village on top. I don't know where I stand relative to them. I think I might be behind. Like we're pretty similar otherwise on actions, but they've got a bunch of stockpiles more than I do. Also, this hand sucks. Where's the villages? I think I'm just playing the militia here and taking the stockpiles back. I don't know if that's true though. I want to get this count trash off, and the stockpiles aren't really conducive to that. Now I think it's still true that I'm just going to militia them and buy stockpiles. Yeah, I feel super duper behind, and I don't know exactly how that happened. Their deck's just like coming together unreasonably well. How are they hitting 16? Like all those cards are in my deck. They're not lining up in that order. Oh, that's a good boon. I feel like Earth's Gift is often the best boon you can get from Blessed Village because it's basically just like take an extra Blessed Village for free. upset about how this first game is going. Especially because I'm player 1, so I should have the advantage here. I don't know what I'm going to top deck here. And if you consider count, because I'm going to have a relatively big hand after playing Witch, I could consider the other Witch just to, you know, draw on. I think Witch is the right answer. Just cursing them is a good thing. And I didn't draw anything dead, so I'm also happy about that. I maybe should just play Mint here. Oh, goodness me. Oh. I just noticed how incredibly low the piles are. Alrighty, as I was saying, the piles are worrisomely low. If I had 8, I would probably buy Province here, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, this is bad. I think I would buy Duchy. Hey. Well, I've given out more curses, I believe, but they've got a ton of stockpiles in their deck. So they just have like one more big turn where they play a bunch of them, and then I expect them to be able to pile out. Maybe that doesn't happen, in which case I might be in a fine spot. But I think they're more likely to win than I am. I would expect him to gain Duchy at this point, yeah. Count is honestly not a good trasher. I feel like this is how it often goes. Get the count with the purpose of trashing and it just never happens. Yeah, so at this point we're just in like a mad scramble for points. I can take a Copper and a Wayfarer. Is that net good? How many plus villages? Do I have 3 plus villages? That can't be right. Let's see. Got 1, 2, 3. Oh, I only have 3. Jeez, I'm just losing this game. Is what's happening. Okay, well I guess I don't want to Wayfarer because I'm apparently very overterminaled. And now I probably do want the silvers. Because my payload is these stockpiles, which I can't get back at risk of losing the game. It's not really a pile I want to lower. Yeah, this isn't good. I mean, I could trash 2 curses for 2 points. I don't really want to trash the estates at this point anymore because they're worth points. I could top deck the stockpile that I'm trashing 2 estates. I could discard stockpile estate and just trash 1 estate. I could just gain copper, gain duchy. None of it looks super appealing, to be honest. I think I'm going to discard. How many stockpiles have they exiled? They've got 3 exiled, I've got 2 exiled. I've got 1 in my hand, that's 6 accounted for. They got 2 more in their deck. I really need to pick up stockpiles. And so I would like to like gain copper, gain duchy, play stockpile, buy stockpile. But I'm pretty sure if I do that, they've probably got a stockpile still, in which case they just buy Blessed Village stockpile and win. It's not looking great, to put it lightly. Maui. Which is basically just like a moat at this point, now that the curses are out. So if they have one more stockpile in their hand, they have the win. I presume they don't, or they would have just played it already. Yeah, see, my deck doesn't do a whole lot. I don't even know what I buy here. Yeah, I probably should have considered just like top decking the militia with Count and then buying a duchy. But then the duchy pile is low. All of it is just incredibly unappealing. I also need to take the stockpiles back, but I can't because then they just pile out. Oh, this is all terrible. This is all so terrible. I should have top decked the militia, I think was the better way. I figured the militia attack hurts too much to pass up on using, but top decking it would have just allowed me to play it the next turn. Okay, well, province isn't even enough, really. I'm still behind in points. But it's nice that I hit province at least. Yeah, I think it's just exceptionally unlikely that I win this game. They have to like draw a stockpile, and they now got a bunch in their deck. Yep, that's the game. GG. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Their draws just came together really well in those early turns, and they got an early lead that then lasted the rest of the game. On to game 2. Okay, this looks interesting. So we've got Cathedral for trashing will be an important question to ask on turn 1. We also got Temple or Bounty Hunter for trashing, as well as Crypt. There's villages, I mean, Minstrel, Bandit Camp, Disciple, Bustling Village, the Teacher plus action token. Lots of villages. Faithful Hound is draw, Gear is a draw, plus card tokens draw, Crypt is draw, plus buy is stockpile peasant or the token. You got all the things you could ever really need to build here. Which means the question is really just what order you buying things in. They went for an early Cathedral. That seems eminently reasonable to me. Is there an argument for skipping it? I mean, Bounty Hunter is also really good at trashing. You could do like Bounty Hunter, Peasant. I guess if you're getting attacked with 2 soldiers per turn, then Cathedral means you're playing with 2-card hands. But you can get around that. You can just like dash some coppers on Crypt, and then you trash the coppers as they come in. So you still get a true 3-card hand. Yeah, I think it's just Cathedral. They have the better split. The 3-4 means they get 2 points off of Basilica. I don't. I couldn't do it the other way around, like buy Peasant and then buy Cathedral, because I don't get to trash on a state turn 2, which I value more than the points. Okay, I've got 4. My next 5 cards have an estate, 3 coppers, and a peasant, so I'm going to hit 4. Wish I had like a 5-3 split. I guess that's not really possible how I opened, is it? Yeah. That would be possible if I had like a silver or something, but there's actually no way for me to hit 5 and 3 here. So what am I buying on the $4 hand next turn? I'll have 2 buys. I think I'm taking Minstrel here. Seems right. I'm probably going to buy at least 1 more Peasant, and then I'll have 2 terminals in my shuffle, and so I want to add a village. I think we're basically mirrored, except that they've got one more point, or two more points than I do. One more set of Basilica points. This is not a bad set of cards to see on top. Wandering Minstrel plus like one other cantrip is nice, because it means if my soldier is anywhere on those top 4 cards, I'll be able to play it this turn. As I say that, they also have the same draw. They had Minstrel Settlers on top of their turn 5 hand. Are we just going long term? There's no attacks that would power up the soldier. I'm not sure what your payload is. Could be bandit camps. You take a bunch of bandit camps, disciple them. It's an easy way to get money. I think that's probably what's going. Well, this draw isn't amazing. My soldier bottom decked, but I think that's true of them as well, right? Yeah, they didn't get to play their soldier, so at least we're on equal footing in that regard. So I got a soldier top decked, and I think that other card is just another copper, right? I've trashed 1 copper, and 1 copper in the discard. Yeah, it's a copper. So I got soldier and copper on top. I'm gonna have 2 soldiers in my deck and a minstrel. I mean, crypt is worth considering. Bandit camp, gear plus settlers. I think they did stockpile settlers. Yeah, they had the same situation I did, and they did stockpile settlers. I think I like gear settlers. That hurts a little bit. Means I'm probably not hitting 5. Actually, no, it doesn't hurt at all. Because my settlers just picks that back up. Never mind. That did not affect me in the slightest. Alright, now we'll take the crypt. The one anti-synergy here that seems kind of relevant is Minstrel does not top deck crypt, it discards it because it's not an action card. And that might be kind of annoying. Ouch. That one does hurt, doesn't it? I think I'm discarding soldier here. Yeah, that soldier did hurt. I can't discard the copper or I'll have nothing to trash. And at this point in my shuffle, the settler is like functionally a laboratory, at least for this turn, because it'll pick up a copper before I trigger the shuffle. And so I did not want to discard that. Yep. Well, this can still work out, right? Yeah, I'll get to set aside most of it. Okay, we're getting places. Now I need plus buy, don't I? Am I just taking another peasant here? I think I might just be taking another peasant here. They also lack plus buy. They'll take stockpile, I think, is how they'll resolve that. Because that'll give them plus 2 buy. Yeah, I think I just want peasant. Discipling Minstrel, it looks really nice. I don't think I can disciple my Minstrel. I think I need to play it first. What's down there? I've got a settlers down there. I've got a disciple, and I've got a fugitive. Is that right? Yes, I bottom decked both my travelers. So actually, I guess if I play settlers, I'm guaranteed to be able to disciple Minstrel if I want to, because the other 2 cards in there are cantrips. So I could consider settlers first, disciple Minstrel. The alternative is discipling peasant, which has some appeal. I think I like that better, because I mean I want plus buy, and that gets me more of that. Okay, so now we disciple the peasant. And Are we playing peasant one more time, or are we playing gear? Probably just playing the peasant, right? My deck is super thin. And do I take stockpile now? More peasants? Do I not advance a peasant? I'm about to hit that problem of not having plus buy again if I advance both of these peasants up the line. Ay. Could be peasant settlers. And then I'm looking at having a big stack of settlers bustling villages that could be a teacher target. The card I really want is Bandit Camp, though. And also, I guess I should consider if I want to buy any additional coppers. I mean, they play kind of nicely with the settlers stuff. That crypt's still out of play for a while, so probably not yet. I'm thinking peasant settlers. I'm not sure what to discard here if I get... Actually, I'm not getting hit with soldier attack because I have both of the soldiers, so I don't have to worry about it. So they're going to win them Wandering Minstrels and probably put plus card on Minstrel, which seems really good. Not that I can do anything about that. My starting hand is actually looking really bad, just given the contents of my deck. I didn't find my Disciple, or my Teacher, or my Minstrel. But I still have a chance to draw them. Come on. Okay, that's pretty good. That could have been a lot worse. I really needed to line up Disciple and Minstrel, and my deck was thin enough that it was pretty likely, but it didn't happen. So, given that I can't do that, I think I'm playing gear, discipling the settlers, and then playing one of the other travelers. Seems like the correct order. And probably soldier is the best one to play. This Disciple is getting underutilized this turn, though. And now what do I take? This is a really awkward spot to be in. The ideal scenario this turn was Disciple the Minstrel so I can play both soldiers and buy a Bandit Camp. But now I don't have a Bandit Camp in my deck to Disciple. And I don't like that. Yeah, this turn's a lot worse than it could have been. Could be stockpile here. Could be another gear, because that gear is going to be stuck aside. Probably stockpile, I think, because my deck's going to be low on payload now. And I'm about to trash my last copper, so I could consider buying additional coppers if I end up having extra buy this turn. I think I'm a little bit behind. I mean, there's the natural just like being half turn behind of player 2, where they're calling their teacher turn 10, I'll call my teacher turn 10, but they're doing it first because they go first. But I also think they're a little bit ahead on payload. Have they trashed anything of significance to Cathedral? Nope. So what do I put the teacher token on? I've got 3 of these settlers, which makes them a natural target, but then I don't really want bustling villages all that bad, to be honest. It's kind of annoying. I think I might just put plus coin on the settlers to get this deck kick-started, and then I can buy some bandit camps and hopefully disciple them. The advantage I think I'm going to have is I'm going to have more disciples. I've got more travelers moving up the line, and so hopefully I can catch up and payload that way. Down there I've got a disciple, a stockpile. I don't know what the last card is. It's copper, isn't it? Yeah, it's a copper. Disciple, stockpile, copper. So if I disciple, say, Wandering Minstrel, then I would have 3 from stockpile, 1 from copper, that's 4, 5 with peasant, 7 with soldier. And I'd have 3 buys. Yeah, I think I can make use of some coin if I put it on that pile. If I disciple peasant, I can't play both of the peasants. So I think I'd rather just take minstrel here. Okay, so I take the stockpiles back, and I take bandit camp, and another peasant, I guess. And I should think about soldiers. I probably do want to have 2 soldiers in the deck, just because it is annoying when they have cathedral to have to discard. But there's also disciples up for grabs. So this fugitive will become a disciple, and there'll be 2 left. I think this soldier can probably move up to fugitive, so I get to that disciple faster. But eventually I think I want to hold on to some soldiers. This starting hand is not good. I guess it's kind of my fault. I didn't put the plus card token down, and so I also added a stop card. Right? I added stockpile to my deck, and I bought a peasant. Yeah, this might be a self-imposed dud. Yeah, because last turn I was coasting off of a big gear. I guess I should have factored that in, right? Because yeah, my deck felt cleaner than it really was last turn, and that's because I had a gear coming into play. This might have cost me. So I want to keep the copper on top. So I think I discard peasant here. Owie. Yeah, so they got the 2 soldiers running. Oh yeah. I think I'm going to be 0-2 here. That's not good. I don't know why they're buying province. That province looks really bad to me. I can't pile out. They should just keep building. Well, that's not what I wanted to see. Buy copper. So at this point, I think the crypt is going to get trashed. I was thinking what was likely to happen was if I had more plus buy, like in an ideal world where I managed to get more of the stockpiles than I did, I would end up rebuying coppers so that I could set aside a second time, because crypt is just like a really good way of getting around this cathedral problem. But well, the draws haven't really worked out. Yeah. So the bandit camp split is 4-1, I believe. I was supposed to be discipling those a long time ago. A long time ago. Yeah, this is over. I'm just gonna call it GG. Let's see. My turn to go first again though. Okay, what have we here? Certainly weaker than the last one, but it still has all the requisite stuff. You got draw with Wild Hunt or Envoy, conceivably Scholar, Denizen as well, action with Festival or Hamlet, plus buy is Festival or Hamlet, Talisman can gain things, trashing is Raise. So I feel like I want to open with a Raise. Trashing Estates looks really good. And I don't know what I want to open with alongside the Raise. Talisman might be worth considering. You can pick up a lot of Envoys and Hamlets really fast that way. Could just open Envoy directly, which might get you to 5 to buy Den of Sin. Has the unpleasant likelihood of drawing your Raise dead. I think it's between Envoy and Talisman for me. And I think it's going to be Talisman. I guess I could open both Envoy and Talisman, but I think I value the Raise too much. And just as I was talking up the Raise, it manages to collide with none of my estates. Hi. Well, this draw is bad. This draw is very bad. Estate is just a much worse card for your deck than Copper is. I think now I take the Envoy. And here I could take 2 Raises or I could take 2 Hamlets. I wanted to take 2 Hamlets, but since I've trashed none of these estates, I think it's going to be 2 Raises actually. Raise. This is not what's supposed to happen. I want to trash my estates. I do not want to trash my coppers. My coppers are my payload. This is somewhat irksome, to say the least. Do I even play this? I feel like I might just be buying 2 Hamlets either way. I probably do play this because that's 2 junk cards on the top that I want to clear off. Now I've got 1 junk card and 1 Raise on the top, which is probably a little bit better. And, well, Raise whiffs again. These hands where I draw Raise and just coppers are really unfortunate. I mean, I could consider popping it, but I'm not even sure like which card, if I found it, would help me. If I somehow managed to like find the Hamlet and then draw my Envoy off of the Hamlet, that would be great, but the odds of that seem very low. Well, I guess if I find a Hamlet, I could, you know, even in the worst of scenarios, maybe. Okay, well, I didn't find a Hamlet, so it doesn't matter. I was thinking I would discard for plus buy and then take like 4 Hamlets maybe. But all of that rests on a counterfactual now. This is leading to, I think, a very fast pile out. I should be cognizant of that. They might discard Envoy here, and if they do, I'll be very happy. Thank you. I've got a Hamlet on top, don't I? I'm pretty sure that's a Hamlet on top, so maybe I'll just leave it there. I could also play the Envoy and just get a clean shuffle. I've trashed 3 coppers. There's 2 in my hand. Where's the last copper at? Yeah, there's a copper card. So that's a Hamlet and a copper on top. Is having a Hamlet and a copper top deck better than nothing? Probably. I mean, I need to find one of those to kick off my turn, and I've got 3 Envoys and only 2 Hamlets right now. It might have been prudent to discard for plus buy as well. But hindsight's 20/20. Now I need payloads. I think that's going to be 3 more talismans. Now, here I'm pretty sure I'm going to discard for plus buy no matter what I draw. Because I think now what I really need in my deck is a bunch of Hamlets. I'm not sure where I stand. They feel like they might be ahead. They've got a Festival and a Denizen, which are both very good cards here. I do have a lot of talismans, so I've got an immense amount of pile pressure, but I'm also kind of low on payload, I think. And I think I discard for plus buy. I think that just matters too much to me. Let me trash. Do I play this? Probably so, right? I'll get, never mind. I thought I was gonna get at least like a talisman or something off of it. But, well, seeing that, now I'm a little sad that I played it. Finding an Envoy on top is great. Wow, that was, I don't know what was in their hand. Also, why did they not buy a Din last turn? What did they do? I think Festival there was a mistake for them. They had a Din in play and none going into play. I was just kind of assuming that their $5 buy was going to be another Din. They'll discard the Envoy, which is a shame. I can't really help that. I think I'd rather discard the Hamlet. So they've still got that one estate hanging around, so I can't realistically pile out here, I don't think. They've only got 1 talisman. But that's enough to be a threat. I was considering just taking like all the remaining Envoys. But if I take all the Envoys, then they could just take 2 talismans and win. Or buy 2 talismans, taking 4. Do I win if I draw back around to my Envoy? I would need like 11 money. Or I guess 10 money and 4 buys to win. Does my deck have 10 money in it? I don't think it has 10 money in it right now. I don't know what to take here. I mean, I would love to take 3 more Envoys, but that seems very losing when they've got a Denizen in play. They're likely to hit 8, I think, with 2 buys and a talisman. So do I take like Wild Hunt? Den of Sin? Let's pop the raise. Do I pop the raise? I'm not sure what I'm expecting to happen if I pop the raise. I don't have enough money in my deck to hit like double 5s or anything. I could take Den of Sin and a huge amount of silvers. That might be good. Oh, hello. Surely you discard Hamlet here, right? And now if I discard 2 cards, I still draw everything, right? Because my discard only has 1 card in it, so there'll be 5 down there, one of which is a Hamlet. So if they discard anything but Hamlet, I just play the Hamlet and redraw it. Oh, is this a win after all? I was sure I trashed more coppers than this with how many times my raise lined up with copper. Wait, this is only 9. I can't count, can I? Okay, so I don't win. This is a losing tie if I wanted it. Because I could buy all the raises, all the envoys or talismans, and then I'd be 1 short of buying 2 estates. I think I like the plan of trash a copper, buy Den of Sin and some silvers. Den. There's a lot of silver stat. Please have an envoy on top. Uh-oh. There's a chance. I'm going to see at least 3 cards on the top of my deck. I just need to find some envoys. Discard envoy. They've only got the 3 envoys, so I really hope they don't find them all. Don't think it really matters what I discard here. Maybe I should have discarded copper, actually. They probably have another Hamlet in their hand, though, so it's probably relevant. The raise played automatically. Like, it took 0 seconds. So I know when they popped their raise, they revealed both of their 2 remaining envoys. Oh, please don't be enough to win. They're a buy short, aren't they? And some money. I would think they score some here. Like, my deck's a bit unreliable now because I've thrown a billion silvers into it. But on a good day, I've got a ton of talismans and therefore a huge amount of pile pressure. And so for them, I think I'd be looking to score some points. Province would look really nice, but I do see the rationale for them to add another den. Their lack of a den previously caused them to dud. So I don't know, maybe take a duchy here? Hello, envoy. I'm happy to see you. Do I discard for buy? And do I discard silver or do I discard talisman? Difficult question. So I think I discard for silver and yes for buy. The number of talismans I need to have is 2. So future discards can be talisman. But I need to hit 10 and 4 buys is the number, right? Or 11 and 3 buys for the envoy raise and then 2 estates or duchy pile out. So here I'm looking at 8 if I discard. This looks really likely to win. Go ahead and discard now. Okay, raise. Thank you. You've atoned for your prior failures. Okay, yeah, this has got to be a win. Let me just double check. 6, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, this all works out. I won't make him resolve another envoy play if I can avoid it. And a duchy. Okay, we're coming back. 2-1. Their favor. What have we here? So, please don't let it be Minion. I hope it's not Minion. It looks like a borderline Minion game. We got actions with Native Village and City. Draw could be Cavalry, eventually City. Prince, conceivably. Minion as well. Plus buy. Falconer gaining Cavalry gives you plus buy. City might eventually give you plus buy. Seaway gives you plus buy. And then trashing. Well, you could set stuff aside of the Native Village as long as you never picked it back up. Is there a good way to line that up here? I don't see a good way to like reliably top deck junk so your Native Village only hits junk. There's also Miser. Miser can get rid of coppers. Which, I mean, like superficially, that center dice is with Poorhouse. You like set the coppers aside so your Poorhouse is 4 every time, but like by the time you set all the coppers aside, your Miser is 7 anyway. So why would you need the Poorhouse? They open Cavalry, which is kind of weird. Although, you know, that being said, there's really like nothing good here. So I don't know, maybe it's as good as anything. I don't know where this is going. I mean, there's the rudimentary plan of just like click a stack of minions and play with a bunch of those. I hate that deck whenever I can avoid it, but you know, maybe this is the kingdom for it. You could put some Native Villages and Poorhouses in that deck because the Poorhouses are probably worth 2 or 3 each at least, even if you aren't really getting rid of coppers. I don't know. This kingdom is just really awkward. If I buy Cavalry, I'm likely to hit 1, which would give me a Poorhouse if I wanted it. But do I want a Poorhouse? I feel like I don't really want a Poorhouse. I could do just like silver, silver. What about like silver, silver, and then get some Falconers, and then just click Native Village and Cavalry a bunch? Something like that. Maybe at some point I seaway the Cavalry. I think I like how that sounds, right? They're going for Miser. That's interesting, but I feel like it's also slow. I could already seaway Cavalry here if I wanted to. I have, in this bottom 7 cards, 5 more money. I think I like the idea of seawaying Cavalry. It's likely to draw, never mind. I was gonna say it's likely to draw me at least 1 more copper. And I could buy 1 Native Village here and 2 on the next turn. But this is honestly, I think, actually fine. Because it means I'm hitting 5 again. So this might be better. And now I take the the Falconer. What activates Falconer here? Minion, pillage, other Falconers. I think that's it. I mean, if nothing else, I guess the Falconer is a deterrent to the minion deck. But it's going to be terminal here for the most part. And then I want a bit of Native Villages. Buy a minion? Nope, okay. I should take Native Village. This is a good hand. So Native Villages are going to run pretty fast. I think I'm fine if he takes the rest of them, and then I'll just pivot to cities myself. Seems okay. They've got 2 coppers down, which is not a huge amount. Buy Falconer, minion, something that activates this. It's really the last turn Falconer I really wish was activated. This one I already got a village in hand. Okay, no, they're not going to activate it anyway. Okie dokie. Do I just take 2 native villages now? I think the answer is yes. I've got falconers, I've got cavalries, and the falconers are importantly going to give me some more cavalries. So I'll need some village support for that. Now I just really want to hit 5 consistently and buy a lot of cities, I think is the next plan. And then the pile out will be on us imminently, where cavalries will run, that will trigger cities to have plus buy, and then estates or something will become the pile threat. Don't think I want anything here. I could buy a copper for Basilica, but I don't think that's worth it. I think I'm ahead. I mean, maybe these misers will sneak up and catch me because they're already at 4, it looks like. But I think I prefer the state of my deck at the moment. There's no value in picking that up, so we will continue setting aside. Don't need Poorhouse. It's nice when there's at least 1 2-type that costs less than 5, because then if you have 2 Falconers in hand, like I might this turn, you can gain the 2-type of the first Falconer, which triggers all the other Falconers to act non-terminally. That is not available here. Maybe they'll be so kind as to buy a minion or a pillage or something. Probably not. I mean, if I'm them and I hit 5 at this point, I presume I'm buying city. Yep, sure enough. I'm not sure if I pick up here. I am kind of inclined to say I don't, because I've only got 1 native village in hand so far. And if I pick up a Falconer, now I'm on the hook for 4 terminal action plays, because I have to play both those Falconers as well as the cavalries that I gain off of them. I'm presuming I'm gaining cavalries, which, you know, was not guaranteed. Now, as it so happens, looks like I do have plenty of action, so I probably am going to pick up now. Yeah, I can gain cavalry here if I want to. I can also just gain a silver, which guarantees I hit 10 for 2 more cities. That might be better. And man, I wish I knew what this last card was. I don't think it's anything good. I've seen both my Falconers. I think I only had 2 horses in that shuffle, right? Actually, no, apparently I have no idea how many horses that shuffle. I don't think it's a horse. I don't think it's Falconers. It's not a city. So I'm going to set aside and hope it's native village or copper or something. Never mind. Yeah, shows how much I know about my deck. I think we pick up and draw on. I think I'm just playing this and buying a city rather than trying to like buy cavalry and save this turn. So they got 5 coppers down now. We'll see if the monsters come online in time. I mean, there's a risk there, of course. They're thinner now because they've got 5 coppers set aside, which I do not have. Ooh, they took a falconer. All right, you do you. I think it kind of makes sense to have falcon in your deck. It lets you trigger the city pile mid-turn. So like you can empty the cavalry pile by playing a falconer, and then all your cities activate. It's hard to activate cities by buying them, because if you buy the city to empty a pile, well, you're activating it for your opponent before yourself. So being able to mid-turn empty piles, obviously a very good thing. Do I want to put horses in the shuffle? Probably, right? I don't know what else is down there. It's probably a decent amount of junk. 3 coppers down. Actually, we should figure out what's down there. 3 coppers, a native village. So like 3 coppers, like a silver, a bunch of native villages. I probably need to put a few horses in that shuffle. Nice, looks like I put basically exactly as much as I needed and no more. Got some horses top deck now, which means I should probably just gain some silvers off it. I mean, I could take miser now too, I guess. So if I just take 2 silvers, how much do I have? That gives me 15. And 15 seems like a good number, because that gets me cities. So I think I'm just going to take 2 silvers here. Did I say 15? I meant 17. Shows how much I know. Yeah, oh well. Well, we're taking 2 cities anyway, for sure. Probably just a 3rd city now. How does poorhouse with cavalry work? I guess I should think about that, right? So like if I bought poorhouses right now and then bought a cavalry. Wait, is that a pile out? Shoot, now I have to think about this. New things have occurred to me. So buy poorhouse, buy cavalry. That costs me 5 money. It gives me 4 money back. And it gives me 2 buys if I play the cavalry. That means it's also action intensive though. So I could conceivably like almost autopile poorhouses and cavalries with enough villages, but I don't have enough villages to do that, I don't think. I got 2 cities down there, which would support like 5 poorhouse plus cavalry plays. That's not enough, I don't think, to actually autopile it. I'll keep that in mind for next turn, though. In fact, maybe I buy some poorhouses now with the intention of doing that. I think if all goes well this turn, I'm going to pile out cavalries, ideally with playing as few cities as possible, and then do things. Empty cities, empty poorhouses, something like that. That probably means buying 3 cavalries, falconering 2 of them, and then buying 2 cities and maybe a province if I need to, depending on whether they score here. They've only got the 2 misers still. Like they're lowering cavalries, which on the face of it looks like a pile out to me, but I don't think they can pile out because they've already played both their misers. So where's their payload coming from? Could be the poorhouse trick. Maybe they have it, but I don't think they have enough fact. Like the poorhouse cavalry thing is very action intensive. Uh-oh. Well, they're worrying me if nothing else. I don't think this can pile out, right? Yeah, okay, they're out of actions. Well, so, given that they still look pretty far from a pile out, I'm very confused as to why they just lowered cavalry so precipitously. That just looks like a really bad idea, right? I mean, I was planning to pile out when there were 5 cavalry in the pile. Now there's 2 cavalry in the pile. I guess I'll just buy one of them. Buy the other one. Oh, well, I mean, this is beyond enough. That probably wasn't ideal because, like, I've now emptied cavalries before playing my poorhouses. There's a trade-off there. If I empty the cavalries early, my cities activate earlier. But if I empty the cavalries early, these poorhouses suck now. And I guess I can't have my cake and eat it too. But it looks like I've got plenty of cake nonetheless. And now I just empty poorhouses is probably easiest. Or that. GG. All right, we tied it up 2-2. I get to go first. Bet y'all thought I was worried after those first 2 games. No, I was just jobbing. I like to keep the spectators on their toes. Okay, what do we have here? Villages, Snowy Village, and Ghost Town, and Delay. Delay is a village if you have surplus plus buy. The only plus buy is Snowy Village. So Snowy Village is like +5 actions now instead of +4 if you use the plus buy for Delay. So Delay doesn't look particularly good to me here. Oh, there's Pouch actually, isn't there? Yeah, it's easy to miss the heirlooms in Kingdom View. We got Pouch. So Pouch is like plus buy and thereby plus action. So we got villages. The draw, I think, mostly just Wild Hunt. There's Patrician, theoretically, maybe Wisp if you get it off of Tracker. But basically Wild Hunt. The thinning looks next to non-existent to me. There's Flame's Gift, which you can get from Tracker or Bard. I think that's the only thinning at all. Yeah, this one looks a little awkward. The lack of thinning is a bit of a problem. I assume that what you do here is just you try to play as many Wild Hunts as you can. It's only draw card. So I think you just want a lot of Wild Hunts and a lot of Ghost Towns. And I feel like if you can win the split on those, that's probably going to be winning here. So I'm thinking I could Fairy Wild Hunt and then buy Wild Hunt. I don't have the split though to allow me to consider buying 2 2s. Like if the Pouch is in the $4 hand, you could buy like Tracker, Patrician or something, I guess. I think I like just Fairy Wild Hunt, buy Wild Hunt. And I think the goal is mostly just to click Wild Hunt and Ghost Town for a long time. Hope that goes somewhere. That's interesting. So they could have bought Wild Hunt outright, with the downside of it, you know, they don't have it ferried yet. They ferried it and then didn't buy it. I think that's reasonable, mostly because Tracker. So like obviously you want to put a good card into your shuffle. But if you find Tracker, you can play the Tracker and then top deck the Wild Hunt for the next turn, which definitely has a lot of appeal to it. Okay, so here I think I buy a second Wild Hunt and buy Ghost Town. And then if I don't find one of my Wild Hunts next turn, which is was kind of likely, but I found it anyway, I was just going to buy another Ghost Town, because then they were likely to collide. 5's not the number I want to see. I could take a Tracker. That's slightly over-terminaling myself, but there's a few boons that look really nice. Like if I get Flame's Gift, it's basically paid for itself. I'm going to take it. Patrician is the alternative. Patrician is like the does less for you, but is much less obtrusive in your deck option. Castles and Fairgrounds might be relevant eventually when you're scoring. I feel like this game is really just decided by whoever gets all the draw and action cards, because they're oh no, undo. Sorry, my mouse acts up at times. I did not mean to click Tracker without playing any of my treasures. So I think it's just gonna be decided by like the Wild Hunt split and the Ghost Town split and stuff. But like when you're scoring, eventually the castle pile is a bunch of distinctly named castles, and then Fairgrounds will be worth a lot. That's something to keep in the back of the mind. It means probably you let this Wild Hunt pile, the VP on it, build up pretty heavily before ever buying or before ever taking a state, because the victory points are going to be abundant later in the game. You don't need the early victory points if it slows down your deck. Here I'm thinking Ghost Town Wild Hunt. I think it would also behoove me to fit in a Snowy Village at some point, but I tried to figure out when, just because Ghost Town is just like so much higher tempo. You get the village effect immediately. Guide might also be worth considering at some point. Like, to some degree, Ghost Town provided reliability as is, but these decks are not at all thin, and so, you know, a Guide could potentially save a dud turn. Well, I wanted to play the Tracker, but I also want to play the Wild Hunt. If I had the pouch in my hand, I'd just play the Tracker. And then delay the Wild Hunt. But I think, now I'm not sure. I think it's not playing the Tracker at all. If I had the plus buy. Take another Ghost Town. So they've got 3 Wild Hunts too. But they have like no villages, right? Yeah, they have no villages at all. I'm going to take a Snowy, because I was short on plus buy that last turn. And I think I have exactly enough. Oh, they took the points kind of early there. I guess it makes sense if you're over terminal, then, you know, drawing isn't going to help you very much. I think I've got exactly enough draw on an ideal case to get through my deck, but we don't find it. Yeah, there's a Wild Hunt and a Snowy down there. So I could have gotten through my deck if I found all my Wild Hunts, which I didn't. Yeah, I bottom decked Copper, Wild Hunt, Snowy, Ghost Town. So I want another Ghost Town, which I do not want to top deck. Thank you, Tracker, but I will decline. And then I could take the Flag now, I guess. It adds payload. And I feel like they're not in a position to take it back because they're like so over terminal as is. If they get stuck in a flag war, that probably hurts them more than me. We'll see how that goes. I'm pretty sure their deck is bad. Like, they have no villages whatsoever. Well, they got the nice boon. I'm still pretty sure the deck is bad, though, even after trashing an estate. Like, now we're just back to even on estates, because they took an estate. Yes, they've got to buy villages of some sort, and I'm just going to take a lot of Wild Hunts. I think it's the plan. Tracker first. Yeah, this works. I can top deck a Wild Hunt and guarantee I find my draw cards. Worked out pretty well, I'd say. Except for me bottom decking the last one. Well, maybe I'll take the points there. I think I should just take all of these. Top deck 1. Now we got 2 Wild Hunts on top. That's probably plenty. I guess I can top deck multiple. I've got 3 Ghost Towns going into play. So they're gonna have a big VP lead. I would expect them to take the points here. Yeah, no surprise. So that means I gotta watch out for piles, because I do want to lower Ghost Towns, which means I have to watch out for any third pile. The estates could run really fast if I'm not careful. And so I should probably start scoring soon. Ghost Towns are going to run out, and then pretty soon I would expect estates to run out. Interesting to me that you're going for Emporia. Again, I would think that the thing their deck needs is more villages. They've only got the 1 Snowy Village, but I guess Emporia it is. Good boon? I guess that's fine. Take it. What's that bottom card? I have no idea what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It might be a Wild Hunt, actually. Yeah, it is. I'm gonna be scoring like 5 to 6 points per turn now, which is nice. I need another village. Might need 2 more villages because I'm not playing all this as is. And then what? I mean, I could ferry Emporia, and then I'm contesting that pile as well. I think I might just want to start it on castles pretty soon. Maybe this turn even. How many uniques do I have? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 uniques. It's not as many as I thought. So if I take like Humble and Fairgrounds will be worth 10. So I need to get like 4 castles to get Fairgrounds up to 15 points. I think I'm waffling between Humble Ghost Town and Humble Crumble. I could also take a second Snowy Village. Like the second Snowy is actually like kind of non-terminal here because like you'll play it, you don't get actions off of it or anything, but you will get a plus buy still, which will let me like delay 1 extra wild hunt per turn for reliability's sake. That has definitely an argument in its favor as well. Maybe I just do like Snowy Village, Humble Castle. Now I like the 1 more Ghost Town first. I want to have 4 Ghost Towns because I was not able to play all my wild hunts this past turn. They're just so low on villages that I think that as long as I don't botch this and open up a pile out somehow, I won't lose this game. Good boon? Not good boon. Bad boon. So if I don't need the money, I'll just play both wild hunts. Let me figure out if I need 2 coins from Flag Bearer. So I got 7, 8, 10, 11 money as is. What do I want to buy? Probably 1 more Ghost Town, 1 more Castle. Actually, maybe I shouldn't touch the Ghost Towns. Again, the estates are going to open up as a pile very imminently. I would love to buy Crumble, Small, and then Haunted Castle and get in the attack. That costs probably more than I can afford, though. That's 15, right? Yeah, it's 15. And I said I have 11 or 13. 7, 8, 10, 11. Yeah, I'm at 11 or 13, so I can't do that anyway. Maybe I do Crumbling Castle, Small Castle, Snowy Village. How does ferry work with castles? Can I ferry it? No. I was wondering if I could like ferry it when the small castle was on top, but I think it just doesn't count as an action supply pile regardless, so that wouldn't work. Yeah, I think I value the 2 money more than the 1 extra point I would get from playing an extra wild hunt. Take 1 more of those, which will top deck. The other benefit of having a second Snowy, and that was almost realized this turn, is you can bottom deck the Snowy Village if you only have the 1, and then that's a pain in the butt. So this way guarantees I don't bottom deck my Snowy, or I could bottom deck both of them. Makes it much less likely. So I've got fewer Ghost Towns going down this turn than last turn, which means I'll be a little bit more over-terminaled here. I don't think that's a huge concern. If I don't need to play my Flag Bearer, so be it. The game's coming to a close very soon, and so I want points. And yet, like, this opens up Haunted Castle. I'm very much aware of that. But I think I'm pretty okay if they do buy Haunted Castle, which apparently they can't even afford. because it doesn't lower piles at all. And I think the only way I lose this game is if I accidentally lower piles. And so if they buy the Haunted Castle, it's probably fine for me. And I've got overdraw here, so, or probably not anymore, but I've got a lot of draw here. And so I'm not super worried about the top deck attack. And I think we take the points now, and the Haunted Castle. Did not find the pouch, which is somewhat upsetting. Plus buy is a good thing to have. Here I'm inclined to buy Ghost Town Fairgrounds, I think. Which is still worth 4, but we're working on it. Yeah, I think the lack of villages is just going to kill him here. I just don't think one snowy cuts it. I'm also not super into this Emporium plan. I mean, like, it's kind of nice with Fairy. You're scoring 2 points, I guess, but it doesn't seem super significant. Yeah. I think I diagnosed that one correctly at the beginning, which is to say that kingdom was just about clicking Wild Hunt and Ghost Town a bunch, and then I did that more and then I won. They took the points early, which I think was probably a mistake, and didn't prioritize the piles enough. I'm sitting here waiting for them to change the table. I forgot it's me. Let me change the player order. Okay, so I'm player 2. I'd really like to win this one, because if I lose this one, we go to a game 7, which is a random player order, and I would hate to end up in a game 7 situation, potentially being player 2. This kingdom looks incredibly explosive. So we got, oh my, we got, come on, kingdom load, there we go. Recruiter and Fortress is amazing. You get 4 villagers every time you trash the fortress, so you get like infinite actions. And it also makes Recruiter like a bona fide draw card. You know, Recruiter's not normally draw because it increases your hand size by 1, but then you trash and you're back down to the same number. But if you trash a fortress, which stays in your hand, Recruiter's actually just like a moat. Livery is also like infinite draw once it gets going. So you got like all the actions and draw you could ever need. And we got Develop with Fortress, which is also amazing because it gains you like another Develop and then like a Recruiter or a Livery or whatever. Once this stuff starts happening, it's just not going to stop happening. This is going to fly off the charts real fast. The question is how you get there. So they borrowed for Recruiter turn 1. I'm definitely doing that turn 2. I'm not sure what opening I'm pairing with it turn 1 though. So the options are I could do Silver, maybe I hit 5 again. I could take Develop, which maybe thins my coppers, and probably the main benefit of Develop is I want to develop in my deck anyway because I'm going to add a Fortress very soon after. I could add a Smugglers because if they hit a big price point and I want to smuggle it, player 2, so Smugglers looks a little bit better. Forager, a little bit better at trashing coppers than Develop is, with the downside of not as good later on. I think those are the reasonable considerations, but that's a lot of them. I think I'm leaning towards Develop. Just like I'm going to buy a Fortress at some point in the second shuffle, I'm pretty sure. And then if I just manage to collide that Develop and the Fortress early, like there's a little bit of a high roll there, but if that happens, I feel like that's the thing that kicks off the turn. That then it just everything else falls into place from there. So I could borrow a Fortress here. But that does have this risk of me bottom decking Recruiter, which would suck. Might still be worth it. I'd also take Smugglers like they are. Or just Forager, even. Or a second Develop. I don't think I care about Smugglers enough. I think Develop and Recruiter, not Develop and Recruiter, Develop and Fortress will get you all the 5s you want. I just want that to happen. I think I'm leaning towards Forager now and then hopefully buy Fortress next turn. So I could play the Necropolis. I think I should. Ideally, I draw my Hovel and then I trash that. Let me think about this. Those bottom cards have a Hovel, a Copper, and a Develop, right? So if I play the Necropolis and draw a Hovel and Develop, I would trash the Hovel, and I think I would just not play the Develop so I could borrow for Fortress. Playing Necropolis wouldn't hurt me there. If I draw Develop Copper, I would rather trash the Necropolis so as to not have to borrow. And if I draw Copper Hovel, I would just trash the Hovel anyway. So there's a 2/3 chance this just saves me a village. No, wait. So if I draw Copper Hovel, it doesn't matter either way. I don't play this Necropolis, actually. If I draw Copper Hovel, it doesn't matter. If I draw Copper Develop, it hurts me. And if I draw Develop Hovel, I just said I wouldn't play the Develop anyway. So there's no scenario where it ever saves me Villager. And we get the line where all of that thought was irrelevant. Please draw Fortress here. I'll be very happy if I draw Fortress. Like, drawing Fortress in these next two cards, honestly, was just, like, I think game winning. If I had the 1/4 chance of drawing Fortress and I top deck like another Recruiter, that's game, I think. And if I don't, well then anyone's ball game. Oh, I couldn't ask for more than that. Thank you, Steph. Steph, I appreciate you so much. Everything you've done to influence RNG in my favor. Oh my God. Well, I'm happy now. I can even draw the Recruiter and play it again this turn. Oh my God. I'm pretty sure this is just, I take another Recruiter here, right? Like, I could consider Livery, but I think it's probably early for that. I just want to get through this shuffle. Yeah, I'm pretty sure to take Recruiter. And then what's the 3 that I'm taking? I take the 3 first, because I want the, if I top deck the 3 first, then I top deck the Recruiter. The Recruiter is the one that the Fortress will draw. Probably just a second Develop, I think, and then buy a second Fortress. Seems like the right line. These bottom cards are, I haven't touched Copper yet. 4 coppers and a something. The hell's that last card? A Forager. How about a Forager? That's right. I remember that Forager. Good times. Okay, so 4 coppers and a Forager down there. So I play the Fortress, I play the Recruiter, I draw whatever I gain, and then one other card, which is very likely to be a copper. I kind of think maybe this should be a second Forager then, just because that allows me to hit 4 without borrowing. Whereas if I take, or I could take a Smugglers and then Smuggle Fortress. That also sounds pretty good. Yeah, we'll do that. And take a second Develop. This hand is uninspiring, but I mean, I really can't ask for more after that last draw. I mean, their deck's coming along too, and I shouldn't, call it quite yet. Does this loop at all? So like, if I develop Fortress into develop Recruiter, and I play a Recruiter and draw that, then I develop do I have to empty all the Recruiters and Develops right now? Is that how this works? Tell me that's not how this works. If so, that's just preposterous. So I play Develop, I top deck a Develop and a Recruiter, then I play Recruiter and draw those. Then I play Develop, top deck a Develop and Recruiter, play Recruiter and draw those. And I get like 50 villages and 10 labs in my deck. Oh my. I guess the question I should ask then is, can I afford to fit in a Livery and still cause the loop to happen? So, like, if I were to develop fortress into develop livery, let me think about this. So I can trivially empty develops and recruiters here, which sure sounds nice. Actually, maybe I shouldn't do that because fortress is already only at 3. I'll have to think about that as well. But if I take livery, so I develop fortress into develop and livery, I play recruiter, and then I draw develop and livery. I play the livery, I play the develop, I play one of my 2 fortresses, and then I kick off the chain. Yeah, I think that works, right? Let's double check. So I develop fortress into develop and livery. I play recruiter, I draw both of those, and then I play the livery. I play the develop, I top deck develop and recruiter. Then I play 1 fortress, I draw the recruiter. Oh, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I don't get the loop if I do it that way, because I would then need to also draw the develop, which is 1 more draw than I have. So the question is, do I just want to empty develops and recruiters right now? That feels like a good thing to do, right? I could also draw on first, because I got 1 more recruiter down there. See how that goes. Those bottom 5 cards. I've trashed 2 coppers, 1 of which is in the last turn. So it's 5 coppers accounted for. There's 2 coppers down there, a recruiter down there. I think a second forager down there. No, not a second forager, only 1 forager. 2 coppers, recruiter, probably some more fortresses. I'll play this first and see how that goes. Okay. There's another develop down there is what it was. I was hoping to find the other recruiter. Okay, well, at a minimum, I'm doing this once. Seems clear enough. The question is, how many times can I afford to do that? I should probably just do it a ton of times. I don't think I can afford to do it all the times. Otherwise, I probably just get piled out on. Let's take. What did they gain? They gained some fortresses. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. There's probably like a win this turn somehow or somewhere if I played it better. I feel like I played this a little bit haphazardly. I don't think I want to trigger this shuffle because there's like a bunch of non-draw cards down there. I probably don't want to lower fortresses anymore, so maybe I just develop the smugglers into something or other. Could take like a pearl diver and a dismantle. I'm taking an estate, to be honest. Yeah, sure. Let's just take an estate. I just want to like not lose next turn, and then I think I'm fine. I'll have to go back later and look at that turn. It's probably some way to empty recruiters and develops and still get 3 fortresses out of it. Not sure. That's awkward. So they pursued to try to help their turn, but then they discarded Develop and Fortress, which are like obviously amazing cards to have there. I think I just play the Recruiter first. I mean, I could take like a free Develop and Recruiter. Maybe I do that. Come on, good draws, please. Uh-oh. Well, there's silver in the trash. I think I'm just buying Duchy here. That draw was bad. And I sure hope it didn't cost me the game, but it might have. Smuggling Duchy. Smuggling Duchy doesn't worry me so much. As long as they're not piling out Fortress and Develop imminently, I think I'm okay. Need to find a Fortress. There we go. And hopefully there's a win here somewhere now. So in hand, I've got enough develops to gain 4 duchies and all the develops I need. And then I could top deck like 2 silvers and take the 5th one. And 4 duchies is enough points. Yeah, so I should just take the win then, right? Let me double check that. So I'd top deck, you know, Duchy, Develop, Duchy, Develop, Duchy, Silver, Duchy, Silver. Not that order. Yeah, that order. Exactly that order. And then I've taken 4 duchies, and then I play Recruiter and Fortress, and I'll draw 2 silvers, and then I'll buy the last duchy, and yeah, that's a win. Actually, I mean, what's even easier, right, is just drawing the Develop. I don't know why I was thinking about doing 2 silvers, so I could just do 1 Develop. Achieves the same goal with less hassle. So yeah, this was a ridiculous kingdom, but it worked out. All right, 4 in a row. Come back from down 2, I'll take it. Good games to you, SOWAKA. And I'm on to the round of 32, where I don't know who I'll be playing. So in this last game here, I'd commented that there was surely a win if I hadn't played it so lackadaisically. And sure enough, as soon as the game ended, some of the folks who were spectating pointed out that there was a simple win that was missed. And I figured I would demonstrate it real fast. Oh, actually, I think I started this turn by playing the Recruiter. And then doing the Develop Recruiter autopile stuff. So, you know, we did establish that if you just do this for a bit, you can autopile Develops and Recruiters. And at the time, I was concerned of, well, all right, this empties 2 piles, but then I didn't think that it would be very easy to get 3 fortresses, and so I cut it a little bit short and didn't take all of them. But as it turns out, it's actually not very hard to empty all the fortresses as well, and so you end up with a pretty simple pile out. So there go all the Recruiters. We have 1 last Develop, and we can take a livery for some extra money. So now we've got Smugglers, which can gain a fortress because they gain 1 on their last turn. Livery plus a copper, or even without a copper because of borrow, is enough to buy a fortress. So you need 1 more, and we need points. And conveniently, if you develop the fortress into a duchy, that's points. And a Smugglers, that gets you another fortress. So you smuggle fortress, buy a fortress. And yeah, there's the game. 3 pile on, this was turn 7. So yeah, that kingdom was certainly incredibly powerful.